A lot of far too many women today just want a man, just want a man's money. Let's cut right to the chase. Just want a man's money. And see, that's where this conversation comes. I have no problem with sugar babies. I got no problem with sugar babies, escorts, or anything out like that. Like it says in the tagline, rise of the college, post-college, and middle-aged sugar baby. Fair exchange is no robbery, but are some women even in the ballpark of what it means of what fair means when it comes to their assets?
Gentlemen, in our latest video, I made the case for why traditional women get marriages, but modern women get situationships. This video is related. Recent high-profile, extremely expensive divorces like Anthony Anderson and Kevin Costner should, by now, open your eyes to the fact that there are two different kinds of sugar daddies. Type 1 are the upfront sugar daddies, or UFSD. Type 2 are the back end sugar daddies, aka court-ordered sugar daddies, COSD. In a moment, I'll explain why superstar actors Kevin Costner and Anthony Anderson are court-ordered sugar daddies. The first type 1 sugar daddy, UFSD, is a financially successful guy who makes a financial, arm's-length arrangement with an attractive younger woman where he gives her financial resources in exchange for her time and often her body. This is not to be confused with a guy who buys a woman off the street. A lot of people misconstrue these two. Guys who go to the streets to smash a street lady are purely driven by desperation, lust, etc., all that kind of stuff. Guys who become UFSDs, the type 1 sugar daddy, do it because either it's more convenient to save time by getting straight to the point with an attractive, well-behaved woman who isn't too crazy, or because they just came out of a nasty, expensive divorce and don't want a commitment, just long-term companionship, aka paid situationship. You'd be surprised how many women go down this path of sugar babies. Obviously, the more attractive a sugar baby is, the more likely she has a man around. Whether it's a guy she's casually dating, even a boyfriend, a fiance, yes, even a fiance, or, even a husband. Remember, gentlemen, modern women always have an exit plan before they say, I do. They also have ways of getting money if they feel you're not giving them enough. They will never let you think they might have this sugar baby dark side, but they do. Mature men already know what I'm talking about. If you're younger and think you know women well, but disagree with this, just keep on living, my brother. Do not underestimate what your woman is capable of, even when you think she's loyal and innocent. Just look at that OF wife of former NBA player Joe Smith, who just ghosted her, basically recently. We heard about that story, I'm sure. Here he was thinking she left her former adult film ways behind her, only to find out it never left her. It's always there, gentlemen. Just like a tiger can't change its stripes, a modern woman can't change her ways either. That's why, sadly, modern women can never, ever be wife material, especially if they've been strong and independent over 30 years of age. They only get situationships, and that's how it is. Anyway, continuing. There are some women who get entangled with UFSDs who end up falling for these sugar daddies. Think about it. Here's a financially stable guy who is not emotionally into her. He's not attached, giving her whatever she wants, whenever she wants, taking her to the best restaurants and events around town, or even out of town on trips, and so on. He's doing this consistently, month after month, year after year. When they're together, she feels like a princess, like Cinderella. But when she goes home away from him, she goes back to her dusty lifestyle like Cinderella at midnight. Remember that? If you were such a woman, wouldn't you eventually want to be with that guy regularly? Not saying all sugar babies do this, but the majority do. It's usually the guy who avoids marriage, especially if he came out of an expensive divorce. Why marry a woman who came to you initially for the money anyway? Again, not to stereotype all sugar babies, as some just like older men who got their stuff together. These kinds of women often keep running into broke bad boys and just didn't know how to break that cycle of trauma bonds. Hope this helps a little bit. A lot of guys forget that the late Kevin Samuels actually spoke on this topic of sugar daddies a few times. He tried to explain that very high net worth men do this routinely because their time is more valuable than the little bit of money they break off for sugar babies. Plus, they're often paying for discretion, and there are high quality women who are groomed for this. They are not low-level streetwalkers. In fact, the preference is for women with quality college degrees from good families who know proper etiquette when around rich and powerful people. Most men will never ever understand this world, which is why they incorrectly label these guys simps. They're not simps. Actually, they don't care for love bombing or being emotionally attached to sugar babies or side women. A true simp not only cares about the woman he's sacrificing his time and resources for, he wants to buy her love and affection leading towards marriage. Sugar daddies don't do this, they're the opposite. In fact, a true alpha man also doesn't care about the love and affection of a woman. He only cares about his own interests and what he can get out of her on his terms. That's why you see a lot of alphas being sugar daddies, because they can give her an allowance to do what he wants during the time they are together, but she can't catch any feelings. Leonardo DiCaprio is most likely in this category, which is why he ghosts women when they turn 25. Okay, enough about UFSD, so let's go to the court-ordered sugar daddies, the type 2. COSDs are those guys who get sucked into being sugar daddies and didn't plan on it anyway in the first place. They just get sucked into it. Let's take Kevin Costner, for example. In hindsight, wouldn't it have been cheaper if he just became a UFSD after his first expensive divorce? That painful one, remember that one? That left him temporarily homeless? It cost him something like $90 million, I think, plus alimony and child support. I did a video about that, by the way. Plus, she had the law kick him out of his own house he was paying for. The worst part of being one of these kind of type 2 sugar daddies, basically what he is, in most cases, you don't have access to her time or body anymore. You're just paying tons of money for the enemy you used to sleep with, who took your house and kids away from you. But then he turned around and got married again to yet another modern woman. Now, he wisely got a prenup for this one, which she challenged without success. But the divorce still cost him more on top of the first one. So now he's paying for 2 enemies he used to sleep with. Kevin Costner is now a double court-ordered sugar daddy, COSD. Same thing with actor Anthony Anderson. Before his wildly popular show Blackish took off, his modern woman wife wanted a divorce. In retrospect, his net worth was not nearly what it is now. But nevertheless, he talked her into staying in the marriage. Oh boy. Shortly after that, he got cast on the biggest acting gig of his life. Now he's worth more than he's ever been in his life as an A-list actor. You would think that would make her happy, right? Nope. Not long after the series ended, she again sought a divorce and would not be convinced otherwise this time. She is cashing in big time now because his residuals from the show are enormous. Since he didn't have a prenup, oh my goodness, dumb. He now must suffer from the secret prenup that all modern women have when they get married and is backed by the court system against men. Anthony has to pay $20,000 a month. If for whatever reason his future income exceeds $2 million, he has to pay an additional 20% of that income. He's basically a big-time court-ordered sugar daddy for life. In these 2 high-profile cases, it would have been cheaper to just be a UFSD, that first type sugar daddy, where you dictate the terms of the situationship. A UFSD agreement might be better than a prenup because women generally don't challenge the former, those sugar daddy arrangements, unless the guy messes up and lets her move in with him and sues for palimony, which is why I strongly recommend never moving in with a modern woman under any circumstances. A mutual UFSD agreement is far less expensive than a one-sided court-ordered sugar daddy, where if you don't pay child support, it can lead to you losing your freedom and other privileges in society. In fact, you can pretty much call it the mark of the beast system because you can hardly buy or sell without it. You got to pay up. All right, so these are just celebrities, but there are many men out there who are COSDs, court-ordered sugar daddies, without realizing it. How much are you paying in child support or alimony right now? Do you have access to her time and body? In many cases, the answer is no. Therefore, you're a COSD, gentlemen, until that child turns 18. If you got suckered into a permanent alimony situation, then you're a COSD for life, man, until the casket drops. And even then, even if after the casket drops, your life insurance policy becomes your post-mortem sugar daddy, as the proceeds have to go to her, not your beneficiaries. Marrying a modern woman in the West will lead you to becoming a court-ordered sugar daddy, whether you realize it or not. It's better to enter an upfront sugar daddy situationship, type 1, with modern women rather than marrying them. The point of this post is to just marry traditional women if possible. If not possible, then just don't get married. The apocalypse of good men continues. Like, share, subscribe.